companies like Delta today had record revenue for the quarter. It's like the canary in the coal mine, but in a good way. It's telling you that even with a fuel shock and the Middle East turmoil, global travel demand is just strong.
Welcome back inside our proactive newsroom. And joining me now is Frank Holmes. He is the CEO of US Global Investors. And Frank, it's great to see you again. How are you?
Outstanding in a fog of war coming to an end, and there's good news.
Yeah, so we're talking about the Jets ETF and people, looking at sort of travel right now, maybe thinking, airlines are struggling because, are people traveling, are people moving around the world? But you're here to say that indeed they are, and that the airline industry is doing a lot better than people think.
Absolutely. We've seen United pass on higher price tickets the past month, and we've seen companies like Delta today had record revenue for the quarter. It's like the canary in the coal mine, but in a good way. It's telling you that even with a fuel shock and the Middle East turmoil, global travel demand is just strong. And you're seeing fresh money flows into the airlines.
Yeah, Delta Airlines. I was interested to see some news about them and just the success they've been having and continue to have.
Well, one of the things about Delta is they have their own refinery. So what we saw, there's an inverse relationship. As oil prices surged and jet fuel tracks along with it, the airlines sell off because it's their biggest cost. And most of the North American airlines are unhedged. Except for Delta owns their own refinery. So Delta is the bellwether. They can absorb a war-driven fuel bill. They still grow revenue double digits, and they're lean, and their refinery hedge is just really quite significant.
Yeah, Frank, just because of where things are going on in the Middle East right now, there's obviously a lot of travel to there, but there's a lot of travel to places that are outside of there that a lot of the airlines that you're talking about would be dealing with, and those are much safer jurisdictions right now. So, is it the fact that you feel that people are feeling comfortable to go to all these destinations, even after the long pause from COVID? People are still obviously moving to places, like Mexico, Hawaii, and other places like that.
That's a great observation that north-south travel, especially going through the spring season, when you have these digital nomads, they're called, that go from Canada and the US and they fly to Latin America to do all their coding and their strategy papers, etc. And they are now flying back. So we're seeing millions of people flying, booking flights that were not there before COVID. That's a big game changer. And in Asia, you get the same phenomena from South Korea and Japan flying down to Thailand and other places where it's warmer during the winter.
Yeah. And lastly, what about that's in the air? What about on the sea? Are you seeing a similar thing in as far as cruise ship industries and things like that? And that's obviously going to be starting very soon.
Yeah, I think that the Caribbean is still robust and strong, and people are still buying those packages to go to Vancouver to go up to visit Alaska and see the glaciers. And that's not going away. And that's what it appears that people are still pent up on travel.
Yeah. And lastly, what sort of advice do you give to me? I know on your Jets ETF, you have a very specific criteria of how you list and look at things. And so maybe you can just remind us as we finish off here.
Well, every quarter we recalibrate and rebalance based on financial numbers like Delta coming out, which is just phenomenal numbers. And we reposition the holdings, who has the strongest revenue momentum and cash flow momentum. And we also own airports around the world. So from that end, we still see that the travel is robust and strong. We're seeing Air Canada rechange a lot of their paths, not coming to the US as much, but flying to Latin America. They've increased the number of flights dramatically. So I remain really optimistic that this whole drama has taken place in Iran. It will be a temporary phenomena. And then the other part was when we look at our CETF, that has been also on a tear positively in the past year. So all the tariff war and all the concerns, in fact, cargo shipping and airline shipping is has got double digit numbers. I think they're up 40% over the past 12 months, which is double what the S&P is. So there are other things that are really important, that the underlying belly of the global economy remains pretty strong.
All right. Well, we'll leave it there, Frank. Good insight as always. Great to see you again as well. Thanks very much, friend.
Happy investing.
All right. Frank Holmes, the CEO of US Global Investors.